I'm Jacob Tanner, and last Christmas, I shelled out for the whole damn feast. Turkey, ham, mashed potatoes, the works, hundreds of bucks so my folks and my sister's crew could stuff their faces. I hauled it all to their place, set the table myself, even dragged in extra chairs from my garage. Nobody lifted a finger. Not Mom, not Dad, not my sister Lisa with her loud husband Greg, and their 2 kids. I didn't say a word about it, just kept my head down, piling plates in the sink after while they laughed over pie I'd baked from scratch. Then, as I'm scrubbing gravy off a platter, Mom hands me this little red box with a gold bell. "Merry Christmas, Jake," she says, all smiles. "Open it." I wipe my hands on a towel, figuring it's some socks or a mug, something small since I'd covered the meal. Lisa's smirking, Greg sipping his beer, and Dad's just staring at the TV like always. I pull the ribbon, lift the lid, and there's this thin black notebook inside. On the cover, in bold white letters, "If you want to join us next year, Jacob's Guide." I blink, look up. "What's this?" Mom pats my arm. "It's a little something we put together. Family feedback, to make things smoother." Smoother? I just dropped a fortune in my whole Saturday for them. I flip it open. It's typed, organized like some employee handbook. Section 1. Behavior rules. No talking politics, fine. I get that. No complaining about work, okay. I barely do. No grumbling about who's helping or not, that stings. No showing off about paying for stuff. I look at Lisa. Showing off? I didn't even mention it. She shrugs. "You didn't have to. It's the vibe, Jake." Greg chuckles. "Yeah, man, we all felt it." Section 2. Holiday expectations. Bring homemade food only, no store-bought shortcuts. Don't expect thanks for basic contributions. Show up cheerful or don't show up. I'm reading this, my jaw tightening, and I say, "You're kidding, right?" Mom shakes her head, all serious. "No, honey. We just want Christmas to feel good for everyone. You make it tense sometimes." Tense? I'm the one who made sure they ate. I close the book, set it back in the box. "So, I bankroll your holiday, set it all up, and you gift me a rule book on how I suck?" Dad finally pipes up. I still on the game. "Don't overreact, Jake. It's constructive." Lisa leans in. "We're trying to help you fit in better. You're always so, you." I laugh, short and bitter. "Me? I'm the guy who keeps this going." Mom sighs, folding her hands. "You don't have to take it so personal. It's a gift. A gift." A wrapped-up list of why I'm the problem, handed to me with a bow. I look around, Greg's grinning, Lisa's smug, Dad's checked out, Mom's playing saint. I'd spent years bailing them out, car repairs for Lisa, Dad's medical bills, Mom's emergency cash. Never asked for a dime back. And this is what I get. I stand, grab my coat. I'm heading out. Mom frowns. "Jake, come on, don't be dramatic." "Not dramatic," I say, voice steady. "Just done." I leave the box on the table, walk out into the snow, and don't look back. But I don't tell them about the envelope in my truck, the one I'd been holding on to, just in case. It's got my name on it, tied to something they don't even know they've lost yet. They'll find out soon enough. I'm Jacob Tanner, and after I walked out of Mom and Dad's place last Christmas with that little black rulebook burning a hole in my brain, I didn't sleep much. Kept replaying it. Mom's fake sweet smile, Lisa's smirk, Greg's dumb laugh, Dad's half-assed, "Don't overreact." I just dropped over $400 on their holiday, cooked half the food, hauled chairs through the snow, and they handed me a manual on how to be less me. But the thing is, that wasn't the first time they'd pulled something like this. It was just the first time they wrote it down. See, I've been the good son forever. Back when I was 22, just out of trade school with my electrician's license, Lisa got pregnant. She was 19, Greg was a deadbeat line cook, and they couldn't afford a crib, let alone rent. Mom called me crying. "Jake, they're family. We can't let them struggle." So I took my first big paycheck, $900, and handed it over. Bought them a stroller, paid their deposit. Never saw a cent back. Lisa hugged me then, said I was the best brother ever. Funny how that didn't make the rule book. Then there was Dad's knee surgery in 2018. Insurance didn't cover it all, and he was out of work for months. I was 28, making decent money wiring houses, but I wasn't rich. Still, I paid their mortgage $6,000 over 4 months, so they wouldn't lose the place. Mom said, "You're a godsend, Jake." Dad grunted a thanks once, over a beer. I ate ramen for weeks to cover it, but I didn't complain. That's just what you do, right? Family. Lisa's car crapped out 2 years ago. Greg's too busy finding himself to hold a steady job, so I bought her a used Toyota, $3,000 out of my savings. She promised to pay me back when things settle. Still waiting. And Mom's emergencies: a busted water heater, a late tax bill, a new fridge, I've lost count. Probably 20 grand over the years, all quiet, no fuss. I'd show up with cash or a check, fix what I could with my hands, and they'd pat my back like I was some hero. Until I wasn't. The rulebook wasn't even the first jab. Easter 3 years back, I showed up without a dessert because I'd worked a double shift. Lisa snapped. "You couldn't even bring a cake?" Typical Jake. Mom chimed in. "He's always been a little selfish." Selfish. I'd wired their basement for free the month before. But that stuck. Jake selfish became the family line. They'd laugh about it, like it was some inside joke I wasn't in on. I'd laugh too, because what else do? You swallow it. But the real gut punch came last summer. I was at their house, fixing a breaker that kept tripping. Mom asked me to grab some old bills from her desk for their refinance. She was always behind on something. I'm digging through drawers, and there's this beat-up folder. Inside, handwritten notes. One's from Mom to her sister, Aunt Carol. Jake's reliable for cash, but he's hard to be around. Too serious. Good for fixing things, though. Another from Lisa. He's got no life. Just work. Lucky for us. I sat there, staring at those words. Reliable. Hard. Lucky. Like I was a damn ATM with a pulse. I didn't say anything. Shoved the folder back, found the bills, handed them over. But that night, I started a list on my phone. Every dollar, every favor, every time I said yes when I should have said no. By Christmas, it was up to $52,318. 52 grand of my life, poured into them. And they gave me a rule book telling me to shut up about it. 2 days after Christmas, my phone buzzes. Mom, hey, Jake, can you grab the New Year's brisket? You always pick the best. Then Lisa, we should talk about the book. You took it way too serious. Greg, lighten up, man, it was funny. I don't reply. I'm sitting in my truck, staring at that envelope I'd left in the glove box. It's got my name on it, tied to the cabin up in the hills, the one they don't even know I own outright. They think it's still Grandpa's, but he signed it over to me 5 years ago when I paid off his back taxes. They're about to find out what happens when the good son stops playing nice. I'm Jacob Tanner, and after that Christmas rulebook fiasco, I went quiet. No calls, no texts, no sure, I'll grab the brisket for New Year's. My phone kept lighting up, though. Mom left a voicemail the day after. Jake, honey, we didn't mean to upset you. Let's talk, okay? Family's family. Lisa texted, you're being a baby about this. It was a joke. Greg even chimed in. Dude, you're killing the vibe. Chill. Dad didn't bother, never does unless it's to grunt at me. I didn't answer any of them. I was done talking. See, I'd spent years being the guy who fixes everything: money, cars, feelings. But that notebook? That was the line. I sat in my apartment, a little one-bedroom with peeling paint and a leaky faucet I hadn't fixed yet, staring at my phone list. $52,318. That's what I'd given them, not counting time or sweat. And they thought I was the problem. I wasn't mad anymore, just tired. Tired of being their mule. A week later, I'm at the hardware store grabbing wire for a job when my cousin Mike calls. He's Aunt Carol's kid, the only one in the family who doesn't treat me like a walking favor. Hey, Jake, he says, voice low. You okay? Lisa's been flapping her gums at Mom's place. I lean against my truck, squinting at the sun. What's she saying? He hesitates. That you flipped out over some Christmas gift. Said you're ungrateful, always playing martyr. Mom showed me this thing, looked like a pamphlet. Jacob's Guide or something? I gripped the phone tighter. They're passing it around? Mike sighs. Yeah, man. Lisa read it out loud at Aunt Carol's birthday last week. Like a comedy bit. Greg was cracking up, saying you're too sensitive. Aunt Carol even asked if they could make one for me. I laugh, but it's hollow. They printed copies? Guess so, he says. Mom's got one. Looked professional, too typed, laminated cover. Crazy. I hang up, head spinning. They didn't just give me a rule book, they turned it into a family roast. I picture Lisa holding court, Greg egging her on, Mom nodding like it's all so clever. And then Mike drops the bomb. One more thing. I overheard Lisa and Greg talking about the cabin. Said they're worried you're gonna pull something with it. What's that about? I freeze. The cabin. Grandpa's old place in the hills, 2 hours north. They think it's still in Mom's name, but it's mine, has been since 2020 when I bailed out the tax lien. They don't know. I never told them. Mike, I say, don't say anything about the cabin. Not a word. He's quiet. Then, got it. You sure you're good? Yeah, I lie. I'm fine. But I'm not. They're spreading that rule book like it's a party favor, and now they're sniffing around the cabin, the one thing I've got that's mine alone. I drive home, pull the title from my lockbox. Property owner, Jacob Tanner. Signed, sealed, filed. They've got no claim, but if they're talking about it, they're planning something. Next day, Lisa calls. I let it ring, but she leaves a message. Jake, we need to clear the air. Mom's freaking out, says you're abandoning us. Also, Greg's truck's acting up. Any chance you could take a look? We're tight this month. I almost laugh. Same old song guilt me, then ask for a handout. I don't call back. Instead, I start digging. I've got a buddy, Tom, who works at the county clerk's office. I text him, can you check if anyone's poked around my cabin title lately? He replies an hour later. Yeah, someone requested a property history last week. No name, just an inquiry. You in trouble? Not yet. I text back. Thanks. That night, I'm on my couch with a beer, staring at the envelope I'd kept in my truck since Christmas. Inside's a letter I wrote but hadn't sent. Notice of intent to reclaim full control of the cabin utilities and taxes they've been forgetting to pay. Mom and Dad use it sometimes, act like it's theirs, but I've covered every bill, $8 grand over 5 years. I'd held off mailing it, thinking maybe I'd overreacted. But now, with them passing out rulebooks and sniffing around my property, game's changing. I don't send it yet. Instead, I call Mike back. You still got that pamphlet? Yeah, he says. Why? Snap a picture. Send it to me. Half hour later, it's in my inbox. Same black cover, same title. Inside, a new page I didn't see. Note to family, Jake's always been difficult. This is our way to keep him in line. Keep me in line. Like I'm a dog they're training. I save the photo, close my eyes, and decide, they want to play, I'll play. But I'm not following their rules anymore. I'm Jacob Tanner, and after finding out my family's passing around that rulebook like it's a damn party favor, I'm done waiting. It's mid-January, snow's piling up outside my apartment, and I'm sitting with that envelope, the one with the cabin utility notice. I'd been holding off, thinking maybe I'd cool down, but Mike's photo of that laminated Jacob's guide with keep him in line scrawled in it? That's the push I need. I grab a pen, sign the letter, and drive it to the post office. Certified mail, straight to mom and dad's doorstep. It's not a foreclosure like some big dramatic movie, it's simpler. A demand. Pay me back the $8,000 in taxes and bills I've covered since 2020, or I cut the power and water I've been footing. They've got 30 days. 2 days later, my phone explodes. Mom first. Jacob, what is this letter? You're threatening us over the cabin. I don't pick up. Lisa next, texting. You're such a jerk. Mom's crying, says you're punishing us. Greg leaves a voicemail. Man, you're screwing us over a stupid joke. Grow up. Dad doesn't call figures. I sit there, sipping coffee, listening to the messages pile up. They don't mention the money they owe, just the betrayal. Funny how that works. I'm not bluffing, though. I call the utility companies that afternoon, electric, water, propane. I'm the account holder, I tell them. What's it take to shut it off? They say I just need to give notice, prove ownership, which I've got in spades. I don't pull the trigger yet, but it's loaded. Then Mike calls. Jake, they got your letter. Lisa's losing it. Says you're trying to steal the cabin. Steal. I snort. It's mine. Been mine for years. He's quiet. Then, they don't believe that. Greg's talking about fighting it, saying you tricked Grandpa. That night, I dig out the title again. Jacob Tanner, sole owner, filed July 2020. Grandpa signed it over when I paid off his tax debt, 10 grand I never told them about. He'd hugged me, said, you're the only one who doesn't just take. They've been using it ever since, weekends, holidays, acting like it's their little getaway. I let them, paid the bills, because I'm the idiot who thought family meant something. Not anymore. Next morning, I'm at work, wiring a new build, when Lisa shows up. She's in the driveway, arms crossed, face red. Jake, we need to talk. I keep working, stripping a cable. Say it. She huffs. You can't do this. That cabin's ours, Mom and Dad's. You're being spiteful over a dumb book. I set the pliers down, look at her. It's mine, Lisa. Legally. And I'm tired of bankrolling your life. She blinks. What are you talking about? 8 grand in bills. 52 grand total over the years. You owe me, and I'm done waiting. She stares, then laughs sharp. Mean. You're keeping score? That's pathetic. No, I say, pathetic's expecting me to keep paying while you write rules about how I breathe wrong. She storms off, yelling, you'll regret this. I don't shout back. I just finish the job, drive home, and check my mail. There's a note from Mom, handwritten. Jake, we raised you better. Call me. I crumple it, toss it in the trash. They're scrambling now, and I'm just getting started. I'm Jacob Tanner, and a week after I sent that cabin letter, things go sideways fast. Mom calls every day, leaving messages that swing from sweet to screaming. Jake, let's fix this, honey, turns into you're tearing us apart. Lisa's texting nonstop. You're a selfish prick. Then Greg's truck died because you didn't help. Greg even shows up at my place one night, banging on the door, reeking of whiskey. Open up, man. We're family. I don't. He leaves after 10 minutes, yelling about how I'm a coward. Dad stays silent, typical. Then Mike calls again. Jake, heads up. They're planning something. I was at Aunt Carol's, and Lisa was on the phone with some guy, sounded like a lawyer. Kept saying title dispute and coercion. I lean against my kitchen counter, heart thumping. They think I forced Grandpa? Mike sighs. Yeah, Greg's pushing it, saying you manipulated him when he was old. They're desperate. I laugh, bitter. Desperate enough to lie about a dead man. I pull the title, the tax receipts, every scrap of proof. It's airtight, Grandpa's signature, notary stamp, my payments. They've got nothing but hot air. Still, I call Tom at the county clerk's. Anyone file anything on my cabin? He checks. Not yet, but there's another inquiry yesterday. Same anonymous request. They're digging, testing me. I thank him, hang up, and decide it's time to stop playing defense. Next day, I call the utilities again. Shut it all off, I say. Effective end of the month. They confirm power, water, heat, gone. I mail a second letter, short and cold. Failure to repay $8,000 by February 15th results in full termination of access. Property remains mine. I don't wait for their reply. I drive up to the cabin that weekend, 2 hours through snow and pines. It's small, wood walls, a stone fireplace. I change the locks, install a cheap security camera. If they want to fight, they'll have to break in. Monday, I'm back at work when Lisa calls from an unknown number. I pick up this time. Jake, you turned off the power? Her voice is shaking. Not yet, I say. End of the month, unless you pay. She snaps. We can't. Greg's out of work. Mom's a mess. Dad's blood pressure is through the roof. You're killing us. No. I say calm. I'm just done saving you. She's quiet, then. We'll sue. You'll lose everything. Try it, I tell her. I've got proof you can't touch. She hangs up, and I feel lighter than I have in years. That night, Mike texts. They're freaking out. Lisa's saying you're bluffing, but Mom's scared. Greg's talking about taking it back, not sure what that means. I don't sleep much, wondering if he's dumb enough to try something. I check the camera feed. Nothing yet. But I know them. They won't go quiet. I'm Jacob Tanner, and by late January, my family's unraveling. The cabin's utilities are set to die in 2 weeks, and they're panicking. Mom leaves a voicemail. Jake, this isn't you. We need that place. Dad's heart can't take the stress. Please. Lisa texts. You're a monster. Hope you're happy. Greg's quieter now, but Mike warns me. He's been asking around about locksmiths. Think he's planning to bust in. I check the camera daily, still nothing, but I'm ready. Then, a guy in a cheap suit shows up at my apartment. Jacob Tanner? He asks, holding a clipboard. Yeah, I say, wary. I'm Paul Reese, representing your parents and sister. They're offering a deal. Drop the cabin stuff, keep paying the bills, and they won't pursue legal action. I laugh in his face. Legal action? They've got no case. He shifts. They claim you coerced your grandfather. Emotional manipulation. Bull, I say. I've got the papers. Tell them to pay or pack up. He leaves, and the next day, Lisa's at my door again, kids in tow. Jake, look at them, she says, pointing to her boys 6 and 8, wide-eyed. You're taking their grandpa's cabin. I crouch down, smile at the kids, then stand. No, Lisa. I'm taking back what's mine. You want it? Pay me. She glares. We don't have it. Then figure it out, I say, shutting the door. She bangs for a minute, then leaves. February hits, and the utilities cut off. I get a call from the sheriff's office. Mr. Tanner, we got a report of a break-in at your property. Caught a guy, Greg Larson. Says he's family. I drive up. Greg's in cuffs by the cabin, lock half smashed. Jake, man, this is crazy, he yells. You locked us out. You don't own it, I say. Never did. The deputy looks at my title, nods. He's trespassing. Your call. I press charges. Greg's hauled off, swearing I'll pay. Mom calls that night, sobbing. You put Greg in jail? Your own brother-in-law? He broke in, I say. That's on him. She screams, we're done with you, and hangs up. I don't feel bad, just empty. Next day, Mike texts, they're moving out of the cabin stuff. Lisa's a wreck. Mom's blaming you for everything. I don't reply. The fight's over. They've got nothing left to throw. I'm Jacob Tanner, and it's March now. The cabin's mine, clear and quiet. I sold Mom and Dad's old junk from it at a flea market, made a couple $100. They're gone, renting some cramped place an hour away. Lisa's with them. Greg's out on bail, facing a court date. They don't call anymore, and I don't miss it. My phone's silent, and I like it that way. I move into a new place. A small house, not fancy, but mine. No more leaky faucets or peeling paint. I fix it up slow, my own pace. One night, Mike stops by with a 6-pack. You good, Jake? He asks. Yeah, I say, cracking a beer. Better than ever. He nods. They're still pissed, but it's fading. Think they're starting to get it. Doubt it. I say, but I don't care. A week later, I get a letter. It's from Grandpa's sister, Great Aunt Ruth. She's 90, sharp as a tack. Jacob, it reads, heard you stood up to them. Good. They've been leeches too long. I'm leaving you my lake lot. Only one I trust with it. I sit there, stunned. Another property, free and clear. I don't need it, but it feels right. Thanksgiving rolls around. I don't hear from them. No invites, no guilt trips. I cook for myself, steak, not turkey. No rules, no manuals. Mike joins me, and we watch football, laughing about nothing. My phone buzzes once, a text from Lisa's oldest, Tim. Thanks for the toys you sent last year. Miss you. I smile, text back. Miss you too, bud. Take care. That's enough. People ask if I regret it, cutting them off, taking the cabin, letting Greg rot. I don't. I spent years being their fix-it guy, their wallet, their punching bag. Now I'm just me, and it's the first time I've liked who I see in the mirror. They wrote me a rule book. I wrote my own ending, and I'm damn proud of it.